Hello everyone, welcome back to this episode of Worldwide Canadian. I'm Tim Clark. Today I want to talk about something electrifying, quite literally, and it was released at CES 2026. Stick around. A solid-state battery has been claimed to be production ready from a company called Donut Labs. This has caused a lot of buzz, a fair amount of skepticism, and frankly, a big conversation in the EV and battery world. So let's unpack it. What was announced? Who is Donut Labs? And is what they're claiming true, and how does it stack up with what big players like CATL are doing in solid-state batteries? Just a week ago at CES in Las Vegas, a Finnish startup called Donut Labs rolled out what it's calling the world's first all-solid-state battery that is ready for production vehicles. They're not talking about prototypes that might someday see the light of day. They're saying these cells are actually going into real motorcycles starting this year, with Verge Motorcycles delivering in Q1 of 2026. The specs are striking. 400 watt-hours per kilogram of energy density, which is significantly higher than most lithium-ion batteries today. Charging from 0 to full in between 5 and 10 minutes, up to 100,000 cycles, and strong performance, even keeping 99% of its capacity from minus 30 degrees Celsius and 99% of its capacity at a boiling 100 degrees Celsius. These are the kinds of numbers that battery geeks have been dreaming about for years. But here's the thing. Solid-state batteries promise improvements in energy, safety, and longevity, but very few companies have gotten close to reliable, scalable versions, let alone ones that are in actual vehicles right now. So who is Donut Labs? That's where it starts to get interesting and a bit murky. They're a relatively new company based in Finland and possibly with operations either Germany or Estonia, depending on the source. They say they've been developing both motors and solid-state batteries and are now ready to show the fruits of their labors. They had made the announcement of a motor in the wheel at a previous CES, and this is what is now in the Verge motorcycle. But here's a major point worth dwelling on. There's not a lot of traditional evidence of their battery tech. There are no widely available peer-reviewed papers, patents publicly linked to this breakthrough, or detailed manufacturing disclosures like you'd expect from a game-changing chemistry. A lot of what is out there is company claims and marketing materials, and that, understandably, has raised eyebrows among industry watchers. So this is where we need to be careful. Claims about batteries sound amazing until you actually see the independent verification, factory audits, and real performance data. The company CEO was on hand at CES, and after the announcement, he was the most popular person for interviews by podcasters and larger entities who write about tech and publish their stories online. Now, let's talk about skepticism, because there's been a ton of it. Across forums, social media, and even among battery engineers, people are asking, where is the chemistry breakdown? Where are the patents? Where is the factory, the process, the third-party test data? Some folks are outright calling this hype, or at least extremely premature to call production ready. Others even worry it could be a scam. Folks pointing out that if you're truly inventing a new battery chemistry, you usually file patents early and you're proud to show them. The absence of that invites suspicion. Let me stress this. Skepticism doesn't automatically mean it's fake, but it does mean we need independent, verifiable evidence. Otherwise, it's a claim, and battery tech has a long history of claims that never fully materialized. When asked about the battery, the CEO stated he would not discuss the chemistry of the battery and only that it used readily available materials that are abundant and green and have no geopolitical concerns. Well, is the Donut Labs battery fake? Here's my take. Right now, it's too early to conclusively call it fraudulent or fake, but it's absolutely unverified in the eyes of the broader battery industry. Other companies have tried to say they had solid-state breakthroughs, only to fall short when it came to real-world performance or manufacturing realities. You only have to look at large players like Toyota, who have claimed advances that make the solid-state battery only a few years away. If Donut Labs does have something real, that would be huge, but extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, especially in a field where many have promised breakthroughs for over a decade with limited delivery. Luckily, Donut Labs says they will be delivering motorcycles with the battery in the first quarter of 2026, and so we'll have our answer as to whether this is a real technology reality or an elaborate effort to get investment in a half-baked technology. For now, we'll need to wait, and if it is real, it will be one of the most significant breakthroughs of battery tech ever. I, for one, am hoping this may be the case. Now let's zoom out and look at what serious battery players like CATL are doing. CATL, the Chinese battery giant that supplies many of the world's EV makers, has been open about solid-state research for years. They have a long-term roadmap, and they're aiming for small-scale production around 2027, with mass production perhaps by 2030. But note this, even CATL doesn't claim to have a production-ready solid-state battery on the road today. They've been working on it for over a decade, and while they're a leader in the field, they still describe commercialization as some distance away. Other big players, Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, QuantumScape, Samsung SDI, and others, have shown solid-state prototypes or early test cells, but have not yet delivered production batteries in volume. So the industry expectation until now has been that solid-state is coming, but it's not quite here yet. That's why Donut Labs' announcement is so striking. If it's true, it would leapfrog decades of expectations. So where does that leave us? Donut Labs' announcement is exciting if it is real. The numbers they're throwing around are exactly what people want to see from solid-state technology. High energy density, rapid charging, longer lifetimes, better safety. But right now, we have company claims backed by pretty thin evidence, at least by the standard of transformative battery tech. Independent validation is missing, and the broader industry is still skeptical. Compare that to companies like CATL, which are far from claiming production batteries today, but are ruthlessly transparent about their R&D, timelines, and challenges. So my take, let's keep watching this space. Donut Labs might have something interesting, just don't take it at face value until real independent performance data and production verifications surface. Well, that's the only way we'll know if this is a genuine leap forward or another example of battery hype. I would love the ability to swap my Ford F-150 Lightning lithium-ion battery in 10 years to technology that claims to give me more range, faster charging, better safety, and a lower price. If you could like and subscribe, that would do a lot to help me out, and press that bell icon so you can get notified when I upload new content. Thanks for stopping by, Worldwide Canadian. I'm Tim Clark. Let's watch this story closely and be a little skeptical together. See you next time.